forts in the north and west. The British responded by attacking American forts so that people and goods cannot get in or out. In Baltimore, Major Armistead was in charge of the American fort, Fort McHenry. Fort McHenry was shaped like a star with the large cannons of each point. It guarded the city of Baltimore and the surrounding countryside.
Major Armistead wanted the British to know that Fort McHenry belonged to the Americans, so he hired Mrs. Mary Purgaskill, a local seamstress, to sew a gigantic flag to fly over the fort.
Mrs. Pickersgill, I know that you have made flags for many ships, but now I want you to make a flag bigger than I've ever sewn. I want it to be 30 feet high and 42 feet wide. I will fly over the fort for all to see. Sir, I would be honored to make this flag for you, but such a big flag will require more room than I have in my tiny shop. If I can find a place I need to work, I will sew the flag.
Mrs. Pickersgill asked and got permission to use the floor of a large warehouse in Baltimore to spread out her flag. She had to work at night when all the workers had gone home, so she and her daughter Caroline sewed the light of oil lamp.
Mother, these stars are so big. They are nearly 2 feet across. They will certainly be seen at the harbor if the British come here.
Sew them on well, Caroline. This flag must be very sturdy and strong. See, I've sewn the binding on twice so it will not come off the flagpole. 15 stars and 15 stripes will wave over Fort McHenry soon.
When the flag was finished, Major Armistead proudly raised it over Fort McHenry. All through the winter and spring, the flag waved in the stiff breeze. Finally, in the summer of 1814, the British ships arrived in the harbor, and the Major knew that Baltimore was now part of the war.
During the summer, there were many smaller battles between the Americans and the British. Both sides captured prisoners. Some of the British soldiers had their wounds treated by Dr. William Bean, but Dr. Bean himself was captured in the British raid and taken as a prisoner to the largest warship in his harbor.
Major Armistead asked 2 men to go to the British admiral and talk to him about releasing Dr. Beans. It was a dangerous mission, so he chose 2 brave men. Mr. John Skinner was in charge of the prisoners' exchanges with the British. Mr. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. Both men agreed to go.
Before they left, Francis Scott Key took time to visit the British prisoners being held in the fort. He had them sign letters saying that Dr. Beans had been kind to them and treated their wounds. He put the letters in his pocket and took them to show the British why they should release Dr. Beans.
In the early morning of September 12, John Skinner and Francis Scott Key got to a boat and began to row towards a British ship. They held a white flag, known not to shoot them. They have come to talk, not to fight. When they reached the ship, they were given permission to come aboard and talk to the admiral.
Sir, we are here to talk about the release of our friend, Dr. William Beans, who is being held as a prisoner on your ship. If you agree to let Dr. Beans go free, we will let some of your men go free too.
I am sorry, but I cannot consider freeing Dr. Beans.
Sir, before you make your decision, please take time to read these letters from your own men. They will tell you themselves that Dr. Beans has helped them and treated their wounds. Many of your men are still alive because of him.
Wait on deck until I have had time to read these letters and consider your request.
Mr. Skinner and Mr. Keyes made their way to the deck of the ship. From here the fort looked far away, but they could see the large American flag still waving above the wall. While they were waiting, 2 soldiers standing nearby began to talk to each other.
Well, it won't be long now until the battle begins. By this time tomorrow, Fort McHenry will belong to us. Therefore, we'll never be able to survive the blast of our cannons. We are sure to win.
Next line.
Mr. Skinner and Mr. Keyes were shocked to know that an attack would take place that very night. They must get back to the fort and warn their friends, but they could not leave until the admiral had made his decision about releasing Dr. Beans. Soon the admiral called for them.
Gentlemen, I have read the letter you brought, and I will agree to release Dr. Beans. However, I cannot allow you to leave the ship. I believe that you may have heard our
Francis Scott Key and Dr. Bean stood on the deck of the ship. There was no way for them to send a warning, and they knew that Fort McHenry did not have enough soldiers to hold out for very long. As the sun set that evening, they looked across the water to see the stars and stripes flying bravely over the fort.
I wonder if we will see that flag tomorrow, or if a British flag will fly in its place.
We will know soon enough.
Early the next morning, while it was still dark, the British cannons began firing. All around Fort McHenry, there were explosions. As the bombs lit up the night sky, the men peered through the smoke to see if they could spot the American flag. At first, they were able to see it, but soon the air became so filled with hardly see at all. Finally, after 25 hours of battle, the cannon stopped. The battle smoke began to clear and the sky began to lighten. The tired Americans rushed to the deck of the British ship and strained to see the fort. "What can you see?"
Nothing yet. There's not enough light. The sun is coming up now, and soon we will know how we have fared.
"I believe I can see something. I can see a flag. Yes, it is the American flag. Fort McHenry has been defended. The Americans have won. Quickly, I must have paper and pen. I must write about what has happened and what we have seen." So there on the deck of a British warship on the morning of September 14, 1814, Francis Scott Key began to write the famous words for which he is still remembered.